Coming up on today's show, Maxx Crosby injury news that you need to see to believe. And then, who wants a Raiders tattoo? Find out how you can win one for free by watching the very end of today's show. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Rentz here, host of the Raiders Report, and I'm bringing you all this video because according to a source close to me, the Raiders have had discussions about shutting down Maxx Crosby for the remainder of the season. If you are unaware of what is happening right now with number 98 in his knee injury, you probably missed my show last week, and you probably missed Max talking about it on his podcast. If you don't know, Crosby was doubtful to play against the Kansas City Chiefs. We obviously know now that he was able to go. He had fluid buildup that was caused his knee to swell and have a lot of bacteria that was filled in it. The hospital then called Crosby to tell him that he needed to get that bacteria out, and now that we have been able to sit here and understand the more severity of this injury, anytime you're dealing with something that's septic, and when I hear loss of limb, loss of potential life, I think everybody needs to say, yes, we want number 98 out there on the field, but the long-term effects of having something like this are very scary. Will I admit that Maxx Crosby's built different? Hell yeah, he is everything that you're looking for in a Raider, right? Crosby was the first player since 2020 to go out there and play despite being listed as doubtful. He played in 49 of 60 defensive snaps, and Crosby played before a bye week despite not being 100%. Like, to me, all of those reasons why I know that Crosby doesn't want to miss any games because he's the face of this franchise. But to me, you have to be smart here if the Raiders are no longer in contention with the playoffs. I get it. They're still in playoff contention now. However, this is what Crosby had to say about his knee injury. It was blowing up like a balloon. I woke up the next morning and almost passed out. I felt like I was dying. I was literally bedridden. I couldn't move. I had to go through all these requirements and show them I could do anything. I told them I would do anything, and I want to play. And I believe this, that I know Maxx Crosby would do everything in his power to play. That's why the nation loves Mad Max as much as we do. But sometimes, when you're an organization, you have to save that player from themselves. And this might be a situation, and I think the longer you guys watch this show, you're going to be like, yeah, all right, if the Raiders are out of playoff contention, they should probably set Maxx down. So if you're looking for the latest news around the Raiders, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be live later on tonight. Jeremy Chugs and I partying Thursday Night Football. It's what we do. Hit that subscribe button. If you missed Oakland tailgates, hit that subscribe button. But at the end of the day, man, free show, subscribe. I promise you're going to learn a lot about the Raiders by hitting that subscribe button yet again, right? All right, so let's talk about Crosby and the story that I have here. I've messaged Max on social media. I've talked to people close to the Crosby, we'll call it family, and he's dealing with septic knee joint injury. This has been documented already by the Raiders doctors. It's been documented out there on social media, and it is known that this can be a life-threatening injury, and it can be a limb-threatening injury. One of the doctors on social media, MED, is what he goes by, has said, like, sometimes in cases, not Crosby's case, but in some cases, people can have a 7 to 15% chance of death. That's an insanely high number considering what this injury is. And it started from Crosby getting hit. I think it happened in Week 7 when they played the Chicago Bears, and just from the wear and tear, the septic knee injury has kind of grown and grown and grown. But Crosby has never missed an NFL game, and Crosby is the best player on our defense. Crosby is the Raiders' defense, right? Here's the question, though. Should the Raiders shut down Maxx Crosby for the rest of the season? If you're like, no, he should go out there and he should play, I want you to type P for play. If you're like, Mitch, everything that you just said to me, the Raiders should consider putting down Crosby for the remainder of the year. Type S for shut down. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. This is the number one question that I want every single person from the nation to answer. You're going to get hit with the YouTube ad break, scrolling down, and give me your answer. My answer is, if the Raiders have a chance to make the playoffs, you let Crosby make a grown decision. You give him everything, lay it out there on the table and say, hey, this can happen, this can happen. Are you willing and you understand that all those terrible things can happen to you? And if you want to still go out there and play, I'm going to let Crosby be an adult and make that decision on himself. However, if the Raiders' playoff percent chance is 0, and right now it is 1, right? So until it is 0, Crosby should go out there and he plays. As soon as the Raiders are eliminated from playoff contention, if that ever happens, then my answer is you put Crosby, you sit him next to you, and you go, hey, man, I want you to be a Hall of Famer. I want you to be the face of this franchise for 5, 10 years. You have the ability to do that. We have to play it smart here, and unfortunately, that means you're done for the remainder of the season. So coming up here on the show, I'm going to give you more Crosby injury news that you simply cannot miss. I sat down with one of my really close friends from high school who's a doctor. He gave me his diagnosis on it, and we're also going to talk about the surgery that Crosby is going to end up having. I wouldn't be able to do today's show, though. Also, I got to give a shout-out to my guy Abyss for rocking the jersey. But I shout out to today's sponsor, Game Time. Raiders concerts, right? You can do, games. You can go to a comedy show. I've gotten tickets for my fiance's dad. I've gotten tickets for my own dad. I've gotten tickets for Jeremy. Jeremy's gotten tickets for his fiance. If that alone doesn't show you how much we trust Game Time, I don't really know what I can say up here. Yes, they have amazing deals. You can download the Game Time app right now, $20 off with code RaidersChat. One of the other things that I love that Game Time has is how easy it is to use the app, right? Like if I can sit down next to my dad and I can be like, Dad, here's how much it costs to go to all the Raiders games for the remainder of the season. Then I can show them all the different looks, which you guys can kind of see here in the middle of the screen of what your seats actually look like, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to pay hundreds of dollars unless I know exactly what type of event I'm getting into. But then you can also sort by city. Like as you see on the right side of your screen, it says Las Vegas. If you're planning the trip to Denver, if you're planning a trip to Dallas, you can go and you can see what events are going on in those areas. That way, when you get to that city, you're like, all right, let's find something fun to do. Then my new favorite thing that I found with Game Time is they have a section that's $50 and under. During the holidays, I'm always trying to save some money, which I know I'm not the only one to do it. So you can find all sorts of events for you, create those lasting memories. That's what makes Game Time an absolute game changer. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code RaidersChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code RaidersChat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Those links are going to be available to you all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. So coming up here is more injury news around Maxx Crosby and why, if the Raiders are eliminated from playoff contention, they need to seriously consider shutting down 98. Nobody wants that to happen. Crosby doesn't want it to happen. The Raiders don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen. Chugs doesn't want it to happen. Why? Because Crosby is the most important player that wears a Raiders jersey. I'll say that again because I truly believe it. Here's the first reason, though, why you shut him down. The long-term effects. I know that the Raiders still have a chance to make the playoffs right now. And if they lose against Minnesota, you might even have that conversation because the sources I've been talking to say if the Raiders lose to Minnesota, there's a chance Crosby gets shut down because of the long-term effects. He's only 27 years old. He's one of the best players that the Raiders have ever had. And this is according to the Mayo Clinic on septic arthritis. If treatment is delayed, septic arthritis can lead to joint degeneration and permanent damage. If septic arthritis affects also, artificial joint complications may include joint loosening or dislocation. Like, to me, I know that the Raiders want to try to win this season. And I know Maxx wants to go out there and give it his all because that's what made Maxx what Maxx Crosby is, right? Like, he wasn't a player that was given all these God-given abilities. Was he given talent? Yes. He was a good athlete that with hard work, determination, and outworking everybody else turned into a great athlete and then just kept on piling and piling with that motor. He wants to play the entire season. But you have to protect your players from themselves sometimes. And I do think that's one of the things that Antonio Pierce and Champ Kelly have to consider. Maxx wants to go out there and ball, but you want to have Maxx here on this team for a long time. Do we all not? I think we do. Let's go to the next reason here. My doctor friend, that's what I'm going to call him because he told me wasn't allowed to give his actual name, though he's probably going to be mad at Chugs for using the girl emoji. But my doctor friend that said if he was in charge of the Las Vegas Raiders medical team, and my buddy went to high school with him, he's one of my best friends. He went to school for 12-plus years and was one of the best at what he does. And he flat out told me this, right? Maxx Crosby could also be dealing with post-traumatic Prepatellar septic bursitis, right? I'm not going to sit up here and act like a doctor. And if I mispronounce that, I am sorry. But for my buddy to reach out to me and say, hey, I've seen other similar cases like this, this could also be something that he's dealing with, and that when my friend, who he likes sports, don't get me wrong, he's more of a baseball guy, but he likes sports, but for him to flat out reach out to me and said that the Raiders would be foolish to not shut down Maxx Crosby like in week 12 is what he told me. So when you have a person who you trust, who is a doctor, and they're flat out telling you, like, it's dumb that Maxx is even out there playing when you know he's not 100% healthy and you know that this can lead to a lot of things down the road. Like, again, we're trying to win 5 games right now. I get that. But the chances of us winning those 5 games, let's be real, are not very high. The chances of us having Maxx Crosby for a long term is, you got to look long term instead of short term here. So this is according to the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons on what exactly that injury that we were just talking about was. So Prepatellar bursitis is an inflammation of the bursa in the front of the kneecap, the patella, which is a wicked, wicked injury. It occurs when the bursa becomes irritated and produces too much fluid, which causes it to swell and put pressure on the adjacent parts of the knee. So the other reason why this is very important is because, yes, right now he's got some septic, he's got a knee issue. But think about it. Think about like your house, right? If you got molding, if you got termites, what ends up happening is the foundation of your house, the foundation of Max's knee starts to wear and tear, and it starts dying down. It gets weaker. Nobody wants Maxx Crosby to have weak knees throughout the longevity of his career. So it's really, really important here for the Raiders to do the right thing and to do the smart thing. So if the Las Vegas Raiders are eliminated from the playoffs, right, the long-term effects of Maxx Crosby's knee injury is why you got to potentially shut him down. My friend said that it would be foolish, he's a doctor, if the Raiders didn't shut him down. And then the last is Crosby's going to have surgery this offseason. Like, he said that it was only going to be a cleanup, and it might only be a cleanup. However, I've been in the NFL business long enough. I've covered the Raiders long enough. I've talked to players like Crosby long enough. The fact that Maxx is openly telling you that he's going to have surgery and that it's just going to be a cleanup tells me that, guess what? It might be a little bit more than that. And even if it is just a cleanup, I want Maxx 100% ready to go come the 2024 season, which no matter what, if he got surgery in week 12, if he got surgery today, if he gets surgery in the day after the regular season when the Raiders season's over, he's going to be okay for 2024. But if I'm the Raiders, right, I'm trying to convince a head coach to take a job here, a general manager here. Guess what the poster boy is going to be? Maxx Crosby. And if I don't know, if I'm a new head coach or GM, what exactly is going on with number 98, maybe you're a little bit more hesitant to take the job, right? And if Crosby's going out there and he's playing at 70% right now, and if you know that he is not going to be 100% for the remainder of the season, long term, short term, I want to win football games this year. Long term, though, you have to have the ability to have Crosby out there because that's going to be your highest potential. And I know Crosby wants to play the entire season. I mean, there's a reason why he was a doubtful, designation, and he goes out there and he plays. Crosby's built different. But sometimes, man, you have to protect your players from themselves, and this is an opportunity for them to do that. So what would be your one-word reaction if Crosby is shut down for the season? I want to know from everybody watching right now, and if you're watching this on YouTube, after this YouTube ad break, I am going to give you my one-word reaction to if Crosby is shut down. Smart. That's my answer here. It sucks. It stinks. And I don't do this show to have a tank mentality, and if the Raiders shut down Crosby, guess what? Probably tells you everything that you need to know, right? However, though, I do think one of the things that a good head coach, a good general manager needs to be able to do is have that long-term vision. A good head coach, a good leader, a good father figure, which is sometimes what you need to be a successful head coach. I would have learned so much respect for Antonio Pierce and Champ Kelly to make the right decision. It's not the easy decision to make, but it is the right decision to make, and that's what a good head coach does. That's what a good GM does, because I want a guy that looks after these players. I don't want somebody like a McDaniels and Ziegler that I don't know if they gave two shits about these guys. I want somebody that cares, and if they can make a tough decision like that, you know what? Maybe and just maybe they do have what it takes to be able to run a successful NFL organization, because those are the type of decisions GM and good NFL head coaches are able to make. Now, Raider Nation, coming up here on the show, I mentioned it at the top. I got a special giveaway here, And I know some of y'all watched a very, very long live stream of me getting my Raiders tattoo. So coming up, special giveaway. Raider Nation, some of y'all sat through me getting a live 14-hour leg sleeve tattoo around the Las Vegas Raiders. But my question to you is, do you have a Raiders tattoo? Yes or no? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to send a pic, want to post it on social media, I'm always down to see it. But the reason why I'm excited to be able to do this is because we are doing a Raiders tattoo giveaway. And winner gets a free Raiders tattoo from one of Dallas's most trusted artists. His name is Miguel. He's done about 16 hours of work on me personally. He's a big-time Raider fan. He's a new Raider fan, and he wants to do his first Raiders tat. He saw my leg tattoo, and he's like, yo, if you know anybody in the nation that wants to get one done, let me know. He went out to Las Vegas a few weeks ago, had an unbelievable experience partying with the nation, and he was like, if you'll be willing to do a giveaway, I would be willing to do the free tattoo. You don't want the tattoo for me. So here's how you can win. All you got to do is give Miguel a follow on IG, which is listed right here. And you got to give me a follow on IG. And every single time you comment on this post, every comment equals one entry. So if somebody takes the time to put 1,000 comments, you got 1,000 chances to win. Your chances go up. So you have a really cool opportunity to win a free Raiders tattoo. I'll admit, you're going to have to pay for the flight yourself if you don't live in the Dallas area. You're going to have to pay for the hotel yourself if you don't live in the Dallas area. But the way that I figured, you know what, it'd be kind of a cool thing. I will sit there with you while you're getting your Raiders tattoo. That way we can sit around, talk, and then afterwards, go grab some food, go grab a drink if you're feeling up to it. So you have a chance to hang out with me, get a chance to win a free Raiders tattoo. I think it's pretty awesome. And some of y'all are probably like, well, Mitch, how do I know if he's talented or not? The tattoo that matters the most to me, I'm sorry, is my prayer hands. This resembles my grandfather. It's why I wear my chain. And he did about, like I said, 16 hours of work on me. And they're the favorite tattoos I have because they're the most important tattoos I have. Raider Nation's my second family. But when it comes to grandpa, grandma, man, you always got to have them close to you. So if I trust Miguel enough to do that, I promise you he's going to knock it out of the park for your Raiders tattoo. So good luck to everybody that enters. I'm going to be announcing the winner on Tuesday, December 12th. Live on the Raiders Report. All you got to do, give Miguel a follow, give me a follow, comment down below, and I'm not supposed to tell you this, but wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you share it on your Instagram story, you might get an extra entry. At the end of the day, man, I think growing this family is really cool. Miguel wants to continue to grow his brand amongst the nation. We know that this is a big-time family, so if you want a chance to win a free Raiders tattoo, follow these steps, and good luck.